moment for me to name the Moon Lodge curriculum outline, because a lot of people are asking questions around, when we get into the heart of this journey, it's a 6-week journey, what is that going to look like? Yeah. And in the first week, we're coming together to really talk about the history of Moon Lodge, of women's work in the world, and setting our intentions for our experience together. And this session is really aimed to be focused on setting a framework for a safe environment for learning, healing, and sharing, which is the 3 principles that we're bringing into this particular course: learning, healing, and sharing. And we see this as a framework, as I mentioned in the beginning, around birth, life, and death, and that all of the things that we're going through have a place here, and that there's a sense of belonging. In the second week, we're going to really dive into the physical body and taking that dive into the stories that our physical bodies hold, tracking expansion and contraction as a way to help us to really understand what's happening in the present moment and use the body as a guide to our intuition. Learning how to create our own personal rites of passage to bring home to ourselves and to those we love. And for many in the modern day culture, that's really a point that's lacking and missing, is to have a way to honor the different aspects of our journey as we transform. As we move into the third week, we're going to dive deeper into the heart and emotion, where we see that compassion is the umbrella that expands and allows us to be with all that is. And that's a week that's really dedicated to recognizing the difference between our emotional mind and our instinct that's rooted in the body, and brings us into conversation with the emotions and uncovers our power to transform and heal. And in week 4, we're going to dive into the mind and the story, exploring the liberating our stories, and identify where our stories free us and where they hinder us. And through mindfulness techniques, begin to learn to track the habitual patterns that, so that we can create spaciousness to move in action versus reaction, which is so key to our own happiness. And thoughts reflect our reality. So by redirection of our thoughts, we can open new neural channels and new possibilities of experiencing the present moment and opening to be with what is, and maybe even to be with joy. And that brings us towards the conclusion, the last 2 weeks of our program, which in week 5, we're going to move into spirit and fusion. And in identifying this 5th week, it's a week of unification, where we weave together the body, heart, mind, and spirit connection so that we can honor our unique spiritual beliefs and backgrounds, while at the same time strengthening within our collective prayer. And here we learn to access the practices that open and clarify our intuition so that we can carry those into our daily lives. And finally, in our 6th week, we'll be focusing on the integration of everything that we've learned. The Moon Lodge circles allowed us to collectively hold what should not be held alone. And the integration is bringing the circle home, so that as women, we may experience acceptance, enoughness, and wholeness. What a big thing to step up into: acceptance, enoughness, and wholeness. So we mark where we've been, what we have healed, and how we may transform further into action and service within our own communities. And that's our journey.